Well, hey, and welcome to the Becoming Better podcast. My name's Nate, and I'm so glad you're here. On today's episode, Jason, Josh, and I discuss last week's message, and then we also answer a few of your questions. If you'd like to submit a question, you can do that at quadcity.church/podcast, and we would love to answer that on this show. Well, before we dive in, I want to invite you to our day of prayer that we're doing here in Prescott, downtown. You can find more information on that at prescottpraise.com. Well, without further ado, we hope you enjoy this conversation. Come on, guys.
Happy Monday, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Hey, should we talk about the Coconona? Can we do that?
Yeah.
That's fine. I feel like we've talked about it before on here.
Have we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. Like now, today. We're going to see weirdos coming over the hill.
Yep. Just running.
A few hours.
So,
tell everybody what it is. So we may have some
Yeah.
new Prescottonians around here. Don't know this.
So the Cocodona is in its 6th annual run, and what they do is from Black Canyon City, they run up the mountain to Flagstaff. It's 256.6 miles is the full run, and people all over the nation, all over the world, come and they run this race, and they do it within the week. The fastest runner will probably get to Flagstaff in 3 to 4 days, and they just stop and they rest on the side of a trail, and then they wake up after 5 minutes and they keep running. So it's crazy. This last 2 years has been the coldest.
It's pretty chilly today.
It's chilly today and windy. So runners are coming in thinking they're going to experience Arizona heat, and they are sadly mistaken.
I bet in the evening, I bet it gets really cold, especially going to flag.
Yeah. So in Sedona, Cottonwood. So they'll run up Black Canyon City through. What is it? I'm blinking out. Crown King. They'll go up through there, and then they'll come over the mountain, come down Senator Highway, and then they'll go into Prescott downtown.
So Senator Highway, they literally run right beside our driveway.
Yeah.
They come right down the church. So we'll see them running down Mount Vernon, then they cut across, go across Rosser.
Yep.
And then they head up
Through Fane.
Yeah.
They'll go through Fane, and then they'll head up the mountain. Mingus, and then they'll go through Jerome, and then Cottonwood, and then they'll head over to Sedona. It's a crazy race.
It is a crazy race. So over the next couple of days, we'll be at the church, and you'll just see haggard people tromping down the hill after having run for so long. So it is pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. They have a bunch of crazy runners running the show. So, and then you can track them on the GPS. It's cool to see the dots running. I would never do it, but it's fun to track them. So my wife is very much not involved, but committed to watching this.
How did she get? What piqued her interest?
It's the mental game of having to run 250 miles. So she is just enthralled in just seeing the mental work that goes into a run like this.
It is crazy.
So
Yeah, this is a long run. I do that so I know there's a lady at our church whose daughter is running in it because she came up to Pastor Point yesterday and just asked me to pray for her, and is able to do
that. Can you pray for crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like
yeah. And so and then we know and we've talked about this. I know we've talked about it on the podcast, but we knew a pastor in town who did it, and he was telling his kidneys started shutting down.
Yep.
Like your body just it stops. It can't. It's like I can't do this anymore because the change of altitude is also crazy, right? It's like Black Canyon City is like 1,500, right, or something like that.
It'd be a little higher than that, but yeah, it's low. But.
Yeah. And then all the way to Flag, like that's where the crazy part is. Like,
it's probably a 5,000.
I'm just shocked that Kenny has never done this. Like legit.
Yeah.
Like it's wild to me that Ken has never said, "Hey, I want to do this." It just feels like something he would do.
Yeah. He ain't got no sense. He does.
You've known him for the longest, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is it's like $2,000 to pay for this, to run it. You have to pay $2,000 to get.
So that's a pay $2,000
Yeah.
to just endure
Just to be
pain.
miserable.
And then you have like teams of people that
Yeah.
are driving behind you, you know, foods, some people sleep, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But
Yeah. So James, our guy on staff, he helped at a couple of the aid stations.
Oh,
so
that's
he'd
cool.
go and cook up some eggs and bacon and hand it out to people. And Lindsay actually found out she was a pacer for one of the runners.
Corey's wife.
Yeah, Lindsay, Corey's wife. She ran alongside for like a couple miles with one of the runners. So
It's crazy town.
that's just boring. Because you were just bored. You're just running by yourself just for 4 days. That's a lot of time in your head.
Well, some people like it.
I know.
Some people are
And they-
introverts.
I'm not saying they're
Those
not.
voices talk back sometimes, Josh. Don't be a hater.
Oh, those voices are probably screaming at you. I'm like, it's 2:30 in the morning. It's yelling at you. Like, what are you doing? You dumb. I don't even know how you train for that. I got a buddy I've tried to convince to come out here and run it. He could do it. He's just built like that. For sure. He could do it. No questions asked. And I would be there. I'd drive behind him, cheer him on. Woo! Get it. I thought we were going to talk about the Kentucky Derby. Maybe we were talking about
Hey, we can talk about the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
that was another crazy thing this weekend.
Yep. First female trainer to win the Derby.
To win it.
Ever.
So
Yep.
So Josh, you spoke this last weekend, but before we jump into that, I loved your version, Josh's version of the Bible for the story that you gave. So I want to give you a couple more verses and see how you would translate into Josh.
Oh,
So
goodness.
let's do an easy one. Let's do John 3:16. How would you what would
Oh man,
Josh's
Nate, I've
translation?
spent so much time thinking about like how would I say this again. My thought
Yeah.
for that one was like David's just like, hey, my boys are starving. Can we get something to eat?
Yep.
Like John 3:16. I don't know. Like what would be the Josh version of John 3:16? So for God so loved the world, gave his own wins. I definitely wouldn't use the word begotten. That's for sure.
Wouldn't be in your translation.
It's like God loved us so much, he sent us Jesus.
let's
Did we
go.
just go black
Yeah.
pastor there? We just made Jesus 3 syllables.
Yeah. Jesus.
We just did with the default there.
Y'all
Okay.
check out what God did.
Yeah.
He did this thing. And he sent Jason used
Yeah.
the word mid earlier in the meeting I was in. It's like, don't use that word now.
Let's go mid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. Some of that, again, it's just, influenced by the Holy Spirit. I'm trying to write these sermons.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can just off the cuff just come up with my own version of just try to make it relatable.
I feel like it works better with stories than
Yeah.
individual verses.
That's true.
yep.
Yeah.
Because so that whole story is wild because there was a whole other part. Like when you just read this again, and my assumption is no one knows the context, and I'm like, trying to balance how much do people need to know about this story that's important, And so I'm just trying to, without turning there, I'm like, what's just really easy for people to know, right? What's really easy for? So it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to think. If I'm David, like, dude, I am hungry. Give me something to eat, kind of deal. So
Yeah.
So I think about what would be the Josh version of like the
that's a lot of pressure, y'all.
the transfiguration. So you think about those stories and those moments, what would be
Oh yeah, they're up on the mountain.
Yeah.
And Jesus is, how would I tell it to a little kid?
What? Not to little kid. You can be
Adult.
a 40-year-old me.
A 40-year-old me. I
a
don't know
long time
how I
ago,
would.
by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how I would tell that story. Yeah. Again, these are good, Nate. This
Yeah.
is good. You put me on the spot. I really don't know. Like it just felt like that's what I would say.
So what you're saying is you don't actually have a Josh's authorized version.
I don't. I have.
Okay.
We'll start slowly putting one together.
This is what I would say if I was trying to summarize these things. Yes. So the transfiguration, I don't know even it feels like the Old Testament stories are a lot better to do that with because so many people don't know those,
Naaman in the river.
Yeah, there's a guy who went down to the water. He was super dirty. God said, wash in that water. He came out of it clean. There you go. That's the Josh version. That's the summation, bro.
The Josh version, just a little pocket Bible.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't need
real simple.
We don't need
Yeah.
I was trying to tell my son Gideon about Gideon. I was
Yep.
like, I was trying to remind him of the story. Gideon was like, It's like, son, don't you remember the story of Gideon? He's like, no. I was like, oh, all right, he's a dude who wanted to do the right thing. He got really fearful, and God showed up. That's the story, right?
Yep.
Like just trying to like help him understand. I remember like Gideon, there's 3 different things, and the fleece on the. I'm like, he just can't trace through all that.
Nope.
But I'm like, hey, how do I just quickly get to him to go, hey, what's the big picture of this whole thing? Really, that's kind of essentially that's what was happening with David. I'm really hungry, feed me.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think it's funny. So these are Bible names, right? So you got a Levi. You know how the Levites how they became the priest? They're the priests. You know how they became the priest?
How?
Do you know this story, Nate? Okay, here's how they became the priest. I was just laughing because it fits our personality. The Levite on the day that God brought the law, gave him to Moses, and God sends Moses down and says, hey, you need to go down there because they're doing a little something they shouldn't be doing. This is Jason version. So they're down there doing the little dance around the thing naked and doing all the stuff. And Moses comes down, throws the tablets down. Everybody knows that part of the story. Well, the next part of the story is Moses says, hey, everybody who's with me and the Lord, come here. And it was the Levites who came. And Moses says, okay, here's what I want you to do. Pull out your sword and go through the camp and start killing everybody. And literally, the Levites killed 3,000 people on the day that the law came down. And that's how they became the priests, because they were the ones who were willing to do the thing the Lord told them to do. And what he told them to do was go kill people.
Yep.
3,000 people. Now, what the cool part of that story is, the day the law came down, 3,000 people died. The day the Holy Spirit comes down,
3,000 people came to life.
that's right. 3,000 people are baptized and come to Jesus. So it was a reversal. You get this picture of law and grace, flesh and spirit. And it's a cool story. But that's who my kid's named after. The one who's willing to stand up and go kill people for Jesus.
Let's go.
If Gideon ends up killing people for Jesus,
Yeah.
God just removes all the people he was going to do it with.
That's right.
He walked in there pretty confident and then got a little afraid.
Yep.
And then God said, if you're afraid, let me just remove all your people. Now go into battle. And you're like, I feel like that's the opposite. Like when you read through the story, you're like, but he like starts out like he was furious at those Asherah poles. Like he's so mad. Like Gideon is like, he wants it to end. He wants to do the thing God calls him to do, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the judges in there, and he starts off so well. But then what happens with all of us? Fear kind of takes over, and he's unsure because he sees what's ahead of him. He's like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So that's all of them.
So let's dive into this last week. Josh, you spoke on stage, and it was a great morning. I loved that you brought Chase on stage.
Do you think people know who Chase is?
I think the Prescott people who are on the campus, because he hosted, know now.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, I'm the middle school pastor. People were like, oh, we have one of those. Apparently, even our students were like, that's what his title is? Like they were so confused by like, that's what his official title is. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Chase is a resident with us. And one of the things we try to do really early with our residents is just make like he's desiring to be a pastor. And so we just want him to say that and to believe that. And we try to give him the ownership of what it means to be a pastor. And so, and two, when you go, hey, what's your job here? Oh, I'm the resident. People go, what's that? Well, essentially, he's in training to be a pastor, right? Like that's what he's he'll be with us for 18 months to 2 years. We got to celebrate Kellen here recently. So that's what Chase is doing. And all the guys always come in with a desire to be in an area. And we had an opportunity for Chase to really take the reins with our middle school. Yeah. And so he oversees really now with the help of Nate, kind of the middle school. And so, really cool. But he's not ever hosted or been on stage on the weekend. I don't think we introduced him probably.
No, we didn't.
Mm-mm.
So yes, I would imagine that there was a lot of people who had no idea who Chase was. Right. But apparently though, in PV, it was a huge hit because the students know who Chase is. Yeah. And they were like fired up. Noah was telling us, they were like, oh, we know this guy. It's Chase. Noah was like, see, we finally made it. Yeah. We made it onto the big screen. Yeah. And I didn't even think about Chase being known in PV. It wasn't even a part of my thought process. So Yeah, it was fun to have. He was a good sport.
He was.
I had let him know that I was going to have him do that because he was also hosting.
Yep.
And I knew he would be in the room. And I didn't know if I called a random person out on this, that they would actually come up there. And then that'd been super awkward. And I was like, I don't want to call my kids up. That's already embarrassing, So, yeah.
And the ones who get excited about being up there, you don't want.
Yeah, I probably don't. They want to talk.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't. But I didn't tell Chase what we were doing. Mm-mm. I just was like, hey, you should read the sermon. But like, it's just going to be kind of feeling it out, so to speak. But I just felt like people needed to sit in that tension a little bit of being like, man, I bet that is super awkward.
Yeah.
Because it had to be super awkward to be in that. Jason talked about that a couple weeks ago when we were talking about like when you read the Bible, and he did it with one of the stories we read through. Like,
the guy coming
to the
roof.
roof. Like sometimes you do just gotta. What did that moment feel like?
Yeah,
and that was one of the texts that's like I've always read. Like, oh my gosh, I bet this was super awkward. And I would, the meme. So this is the meme with the guy who lays back and eats the popcorn. That's what I feel when I read this story. Yeah. I'm just like, what's he gonna do? Mm-hmm. Let's just see. Like Jesus, just so like, the questions asking the Pharisees. Oh, have you ever read the Bible? It's like asking a pastor, hey, have you ever read that Bible?
No, not enough. Not enough.
But it's just so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the times I would be like, I want to be in that room. Mm-hmm. I really want to be in there. What would it have been like? So, it was cool to have Chase.
Yeah.
Student minister represent.
Yep. So, and then Jason, you're in PV, kind of getting to watch it all happen. So what stuck out to you?
Yeah, it was cool to get to be over with our PV people. So shout out to all of our PV crew. Love you guys. It was great to hang out over there. I told Josh, texted him yesterday, thought he did a great job. There was a couple of things that stuck out to me that I thought were helpful. One was the bringing Chase up and just calling out the awkward moments. And again, for me, I'm a very visual person, so I think having those moments there, it just helps bring the Bible to life for me. So I think that was really, really helpful. There was something you said about, when we get to is it lawful to do good or to do evil, to save life or to destroy it? I hadn't really ever connected. I had just seen it as an arbitrary question. Are we doing good or bad? And I thought it was really good that you pointed out, actually, in this moment, the ones they're trying to do evil to Jesus. They are intentionally trying to destroy him and his ministry. And so this wasn't just a pick A or B. You're saying, who's in the right here, what you're doing or what I'm doing? That's what you were asking essentially in that moment. And so that stuck out to me. I had never really connected the dots there. So I felt that was helpful in a good way. As if it would be helpful in a bad way. I thought it was funny. Helpful.
So much of when you just read or study on these sermons, so much of it is a couple of different angles. And we talked about this last week. They either go all fasting, and so a lot of pastors, they go all Sabbath here, and how we need to Sabbath. And again, I'm not saying we don't. But again, I just don't think that's the purpose of what these were. We didn't walk away from this. Jesus didn't walk away going, Josh, you should Sabbath more, right? Yeah. And it also is this question around doing good or doing evil is actually not the takeaway for me. I should for sure, but Jesus didn't ask the crowd, I don't think.
No.
They're just there worshiping. But that's a lot of the takeaways. And I was like, I don't know if that's... So again, like we talked about last week, it's just been so helpful when you keep all this in context. Again, Jason set it up with this whole idea of Jesus has come to do something new.
Yeah.
And then right after it, this is the thing that Luke then places here as... Not just new like fun, but new that's going to just, he said it. Jesus is coming to blow up your world.
Yeah.
This was the thing. And they just had enough of it. That's why they want to kill him. Mm-hmm. And so that context, speaking in, it just helps so much when you're when you're reading it all together instead of just reading little stories. It just helps it, this is why it's probably in there. It's just such a better way to,
I think we need to have a little more context around the toilet paper ripping conversation.
Oh, dude. So yeah, she told me like literally they could not tear toilet paper if they went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I would be like, so what happens if you like go out in public? But she's like, we can't go this far.
Yeah.
You can only go a Sabbath day journey, which was like 200 or 2,000 cubits or something.
Well, that's changed now. We talked about this.
It is. So here's what I was reading about, that you can only travel so far. So what they would do is I would drop food at Nate's house because then I have food or possessions. So I have a temporary resident at Nate's house, so I can go further. So I could go to my grandma's house and leave some food there and go, I'm going to get my food. So technically, this is my temporary residence. So they have all these workarounds.
This is a big workarounds.
Yes.
I shared with you guys when we were doing sermon planning, one of the biggest workarounds. So for those of you, it's really weird. So you can define the boundaries of your home. So this was the part.
Because you can't carry goods.
You can't carry goods. You can't walk outside the boundaries of your home or outside the boundaries of your residence. So it's not that you can't walk. I mean, if you had to walk around your house, you're running around with a toddler all day. It's not like you get to a half mile and then you have to stop.
Right.
You can follow that little toddler around all day, right? And so even if you're walking, you just can't go a distance beyond your residence.
And it was based off of a Sabbath day journey in one of the I think in Numbers or Exodus. But yeah.
So what they've done, and I encourage all of my friends here, you can Google it up. It's nuts, the workarounds that we do. There is a line that is draped like all over Manhattan.
It's wild.
Every one of these cities have it. But a Jewish line, a Jewish perimeter that they just put a line. It's like a fishing line or a little wire that literally goes all the way around Manhattan. And what they've determined is as long as you're inside that wire or inside that line, you are okay. You're inside the residence. This is all of our home. And so you can literally walk around all of Manhattan, pushing your stroller, carrying your whatever, as long as you're inside this line, this cord, this wire, this fishing line, whatever it is. And so you can literally find it on a map and just walk around all of Manhattan. You'll just see this random one line connected to all these light poles and buildings, and it literally goes all the way around Manhattan. And it's like, what are we even doing? Like, we're not actually following the Sabbath rules. We're not actually trying to do anything. Nope. We're just creating a workaround to make myself feel better. So
I know I need to go to Jason's house. So I'm going to drop some food. It becomes a temporary residence that I can go, and that's how far, because now that's my residence.
And this is what legalism looks like.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Is when we just tried to figure out what is the... I want to be able to say I'm obeying, but the heart of the rule is I'm just kicking it. Like, this has nothing to do with me actually honoring God. And here's the crazy thing. On this line around Manhattan, some priest every week has to walk this thing, because if it breaks...
Oh, you're a hose.
Now we're all doomed. Yeah. And so so it has to be, make sure it's tied off and connected everywhere, all the way, because it has to be a complete circle. Yeah. It can't be broken anywhere or you're stuck.
Yeah, so. I think somewhere along the way, again, what started as they were trying to make sure, because again, I would want to know what gets me killed. And somewhere along the way, I think it was like, we should just know. But like, it feels like common sense. Man, like we made it too difficult. God said, hey, don't do any work. Just enjoy, rest. Yeah. Like, so what's restful? Yeah. I'm walking to Nate's house to spend time, or walking around the park with my kids. It could be restful. Yeah. But nope, you went too far.
Yeah.
Cut it off. Right? There's another one that I didn't use, but so you could only write one letter. You can't write two letters. Like literally, I could write J. We can't write an O. Can't do that. Can't put that in. Or the one that the modern day one is like the elevators, and Jason shared that with our team, that still you can't push a button on an elevator on the Sabbath. That's considered work. So right now, if you go on the Sabbath, it stops at every floor.
Yeah, you go to Israel, and on the Sabbath, there's a setting that the elevator just stops at every floor. So you don't have to stop.
So you
just
get
in and you ride the elevator. And it opens up on every floor. It goes all the way to the top, and then comes all the way back down. But you can't push a button.
Yeah, it just seems a little crazy. But so that was
it is like, but it makes me ask the question, makes me wonder, where are we doing the same thing? What's our workarounds? Like, what are the things that, I can adhere to the letter of the law or I'll just change the letter of the law. But I'm missing the spirit of the law. Like, and so that's the thing. Let's have it.
So and we've had this tension a lot around when you offer online services on a Sunday morning. Because again, when we look at Hebrews, it says, hey, like, don't neglect gathering with the body. Yeah. What's the heart of that is like sharing communion and being all the things, right? You know, doing all the stuff. And well, now online goes, well, like, yeah, but I just watched online this week.
Yeah.
I'm good, right? So that's, I think, what has shifted is like, even if I'm on, I didn't get it. You go on vacation. Like, I'm not saying that, but like, it's, oh, yeah, but I had this. Sports is a lot of it, the tournaments and all the things. And they're just, I had a post that was shared with me. Yes, the ball field is my church and these people are my thing. I'm like, but it's not. Yeah. That's actually not. Like, I pray for my kid and the other parent, but that's not, this is not it. And so the online avenue, well, I watched the service. And so we in a way, it does feel as if we've created the workaround about gathering with the body. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if that's probably not what the writer of Hebrews.
Probably not
what he thought. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you do with that? I don't know. I don't know. One. Yeah. So that's always the one that, do you have any? Your eyes are thinking right now. Really thinking.
Again, we can take it as far as even like, daily devotionals, those types of things that we create laws around this stuff and expectations. Is it a good thing that we're in the Word? Yeah. Did the people of God have Bibles on their phones or in their bedside for the first, 1,500 years? Nobody had that. You got that when you were in community. And so again, there are these things that we can do, and we can go either way. We can be like the Pharisees and take it to this legalistic place, or we can be like the people who are just trying to make workarounds where I can say I did a thing to make myself feel better, but I'm not actually doing the thing that God wants me to do. Because again, we can talk about Sabbath, and this is a whole conversation around what's the application for a text like this? Many people call it the Sabbath. Well, what does Sabbath look like today? And can you just make up a day to be your Sabbath? Can Tuesdays be my Sabbath? Do I get the opportunity just to make that up? I don't know. And what is me lying on the couch binge watching Netflix while I'm doom scrolling Instagram? Is that Sabbath?
It's probably not.
It is probably not. Well, that's rest. You told me I need to rest. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's probably what God had in mind. I think it was more about the worship and enjoying the presence of God than it is just about doom scrolling TikTok.
Oh yeah, there was a part in when I was just studying, like, so there's something to the Roman culture. I actually think they worked 8 days straight and then they rested, is how the Roman culture worked. No, I'm sorry, they worked 7 days straight and rested on the 8th day. So for Jesus' day, like, they would have stood out in that culture, right, against the Romans. So there would have been because God's thing is, remember the Sabbath by keeping it holy, right? They're going to do things that set them apart from the culture they live in. I think that's super important. I think there's a takeaway for us in that. We can set aside this thing and by keeping it holy and thus set apart ourselves.
Yeah. When you say holy means set apart. It's going to be different. Right. And so one of the things that I have taught here, I can remember being in the student building, our old auditorium, old worship center. And I ticked some people off at some point because I was teaching on some of the spiritual disciplines, and the one of Sabbath came up, and I talked about, hey, it says 6 days you should do your work. Like 6 days. Like this, 6 days that's part of the law of the Sabbath. 6 days and that really meant something when you were talking about a day in a culture where you are hand to mouth. Like, you work today, you eat tonight. Yep. Like, this is what we're doing. So 6 days you should do your work, and 1 day you should rest. And I kind of poked the bear of the retirees, and I said, if every one of your days looked the same, like, that's a problem. Like, listen, there ought to be 6 days that look different than one day. Like, if you got 6 days, it's not 6 days of Sabbath and 1 day of work. Like, there ought to be something that you're doing with your life that is being productive and creating something of value for the world around you. Like, there ought to be some work, even if you're not getting paid for it. And if you got 6 days of golf or fishing or whatever the thing, like,
I'm working.
I know you're
working on my swing.
Working on my swing, baby. But
pickleball.
I do think there is some rest. I think there is some cultural implications for us as believers. I think that the delighting in God and being with the presence of God, like doing that, it matters. It's super important. But yeah, I try to Sabbath, decently regularly. But yeah, just trying to figure out, hey, how do I just create more opportunities to just enjoy God?
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
Yeah.
And to, to do that kind of stuff. But I don't, again, that for sure is not why Luke did not write this to me to be like, hey, Josh, you need to Sabbath more. Again, that's not what this is for. The same way as Jason pointed out, again, it wasn't about, I needed a fast. Yeah. Again, a spiritual discipline that definitely I think we can enter into, but the Sabbath at least has a law attached to it, whereas the fasting, it didn't have, like, if you don't do this, you die.
Yeah.
So I get it, but yeah, what's the big takeaway for us?
Yeah.
Takeaway is, if it works for Chick-fil-A, probably works for you.
Yeah,
God
again,
blesses that.
There is something there is something to that. They seem to be selling that chicken sandwich.
One of the best, most profitable restaurants in the world.
And Cane's has figured out, if I go by them on, like, all of the restaurants, Cane's intentionally tries to go by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because they go, people are going to want that chicken on Sunday and can't get it. They can come get ours. It's crazy. Like, when you start looking at it, you're like, no, that is actually pretty intelligent.
Yep.
On Cane's part. Yeah, and they've pushed on him all the time.
Yeah.
Because what's crazy is he's in the Georgia Dome. I think it's the Georgia Dome. I don't know what it's called now. And they're like the sponsor.
Benz.
Yep.
They're like one of the sponsors, and most of the games are on Sunday, and all the booths are closed, and they don't give on it.
No.
I do appreciate that. They've kept that business model, and yeah, it's worked. And they saw a lot of little chicken Sammys. Because Monday, that place is packed.
Yep.
In fact, I may go there right after.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jason's going to Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Then let's jump in. Josh, if we gave you 10 more minutes, is there anything else you would have added? Would you have called somebody else on stage?
I would. No, I don't think so, man. I think I think actually the question that we have, there was a thought that I had in this question. I think kind of helps answer it. So
sweet. Let's jump into that. Pat Kelly submits this. She says, "Thank you, Pastor Josh, for a thought-provoking message. Very well presented. My question is, as your sermon pointed out, Jesus presented a new world order, and his overall message contradicted certain Old Testament teaching. How do we, as contemporary Christians, reconcile the contradiction between the Old and New Testament?"
Yeah, so what's the text? Is it Matthew? Jesus says, I have come to not abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. Mm-hmm. Like, Jesus is actually the fulfillment. And I actually think he was actually trying to get the Pharisees to go back to what God desired. God didn't desire all of the 39 categories. So I actually think he was trying to push against the man-made religions and the man-made stuff. And what I was going to say is, one of the things I was studying, and it was just because I also preached about Jesus healing the many. So they waited until after the Sabbath to bring all those people to Jesus. And Jesus could have, again, it seems as if could have healed them in the synagogue. But they waited till after sundown. They come to Peter's house and he heals all those people. So Jesus honored the Sabbath. It wasn't like he intentionally did these things.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was a moment again to prove, no, you don't understand who I am. And what you're trying to push against is what I'm trying to show you. This is not the way God desires. Mm-hmm. And so I actually think the new world order is actually maybe back to who the heart of God is. Always is revealed in what the scriptures teach us. That God was always, again, I always think of Moses. God's like, nobody can see who got God. If you see him, you die. But God shows himself to Moses. And, all of these things that we get these pictures of God care for humanity and for people. And so I think the ways of Jesus actually pushed against the Pharisees, not against what God desires.
Yeah.
Again, God says he reveals himself in Exodus. Man, he's slow to anger. He's compassionate and forgiving. This is who God is. And then he's revealed in the person of Jesus, the invisible God made visible. This is always who God has been, old and new. And so I actually don't think we have to fight against them. Now, I do think there's a new covenant that we live under. And, but I think the commandments are still, you still should follow them. So, but I just thought it was really interesting. We've seen Jesus have an opportunity to heal on the Sabbath, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. They waited until, and I pointed that out in that sermon. They actually waited until after sundown. And then in this one, it was, again, the same way he does the miracle at the house. Well, why did he do the miracle? It wasn't for the miracle.
No.
It was to prove that he was God.
Yep.
And this is another opportunity that he once again proves who he is and what his power is. And again, that you're missing the point of why these things exist, right? And so that's what my thought would be to that question.
Yeah, I think, just to summarize what you said, I think the important thing to note is Jesus did not contradict any of the Old Testament laws. The only thing that they are accusing him of is not fulfilling their traditions.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's really important for us to say that out loud. Jesus was doing exactly fulfilling the law that God had given. He's just not going to do all the extra stuff that they have these expectations of. And so, but it is a valid question to say, okay, what do we do with these laws in the Old Testament that we don't, that clearly tell us in the Old Testament there's some things that we should do and shouldn't be doing, and we ain't doing them. I mean, I'm looking at you two, and you're in both of you got a tattoo showing right now. Yeah. And I can show you in Leviticus that this is not...
Abomination.
This is a bad deal for you guys. So I just hope there's enough Jesus for you two. I don't know. But, right? Or catfish. I don't know. Fish Friday, give me some deep fried battered catfish. I'm all in for some catfish, right?
That's a no-no.
That's a big no-no. You can't be eating fish that don't have scales. That's part of it. You can't do that. And so what are we supposed to do with that?
And pigs.
For sure. Next
weekend.
I had a bacon sandwich
baby.
On Saturday. So, yes.
I'm just saying, bro.
That's a true, absolutely true. So let me just try to give, there is a way to think about this that I think could be helpful. And that is, when you think about the Old Testament law, there's really kind of three big categories that we normally think of when we think of the Old Testament law. It kind of breaks down in three ways. Think about the moral law. So what we mean by moral law is the 10 Commandments, right? So love your neighbor. You don't, kill people. Don't lie. All of these moral laws that make up the Old Testament, you pay your... the moral law would be you pay your servants, at the end of the day. You don't withhold wages from workers. You don't. Also, whatever the moral law is, all the things you should be doing, shouldn't be doing. All of those move forward, and they are restated in the New Testament almost. Categorically. So when you think about the moral law, the 10 Commandments, all of those things still apply into the New Testament. The only exception would be
Sabbath.
The Sabbath is not restated in the New Testament, interestingly enough, as a command in the way that it is in the Old Testament. That's the one interesting one that we're talking about, that one. But all of the moral law, those still apply. You still can't kill people. Still can't sleep with other people. You still shouldn't covet. All of these, you pay your workers. You don't move boundary stones. All of those things, they still apply. The two other categories we often think about is the dietary restrictions. And so that's what we're talking about with catfish or shrimp or bacon or whatever the thing is. And the reason that those do not apply is because we move forward, and Peter has this moment where God says, do not call anything that I've called clean unclean. Now, that obviously gets applied to the Gentiles coming into the kingdom, but it seems as if in that moment, I think somewhere it actually says, and by this he deemed all food clean. There's actually, that's in a verse somewhere. I don't know. Somebody can
Is it the
Google that
Galatians? Is
Maybe.
it Galatians when Paul references that?
Somewhere, but in there somewhere it says, and by this he declared all food clean. So those were removed as a category that we have to worry about. And then the last one is what we would call the ceremonial law. And this is everything that has to do with sacrifice, the temple. Did you find it, Nate?
Romans 14.
Oh, Romans.
There you go. So Paul declared when Peter had that moment and God said this thing, he declared all food clean. So God gave us a different set of expectations under this new covenant. And so that's okay. God can do that. And then the last would, like I said, is the ceremonial law, which has to do with sacrifice and purity washings and going to the priest and temple worship and all of that kind of stuff. All fit under the paradigm of the old covenant. And when that paradigm got shifted, when the covenant changed, all of that stuff went away. So to answer the question, we don't have to worry about not fulfilling the Old Testament law, except I think primarily the moral law. All of these things that God has given us that we recognize, these are what it looks like to be a God follower. The way that we, and Jesus took the moral law and actually raised the bar on the moral law. This is when we talk about if anyone looks at a woman lustfully, you've committed adultery. If anybody has hate in their heart, they've committed murder. So Jesus actually takes the moral law and raises the standard for these things. And those are the ones that are still applicable for believers today.
Yep. Sweet. That's really good. Yeah. I remember teaching once to some high school students because we were talking about the Old Testament and the law. And one of the laws that always stands out to me is like you can't boil a young goat in its mother's milk. Mm-hmm. Like it's God, he made one of those rules. Like don't do this. But then when you look at the culture around them, that's what they're doing as worship to other gods. And so God said, don't do that. Well, of course he would, because what's rule one? I only worship me. Yep. So we look at that and go, man, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I'm not going to, but God said, I want you to be set apart from the culture you live in and don't go down that path. Yeah. That's a worship of another God. And I don't want my people to do that. You're only to worship me. So again, when you try to like, even some of the ones that seem crazy and outlandish, you go, yeah, man, that can actually, I'm not going to do that, but how am I worshiping other gods in other ways? Like those are the questions that you can begin to kind of ask yourself. I'm probably not boiling a young goat in its mother's milk.
So you know how that gets applied today. Have I told you all this? Mm-mm. You can't get a cheeseburger in Israel.
Oh, yeah, because you can't mix two thingies?
No, because...
I thought that was you can't mix two different food groups.
No, because the cheese is made of what?
Milk.
And you might... it could be that that's the same milk with that meat. So they will not. You can't go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger.
Interesting.
I don't think that was, but it's fine.
And it's not. Again, it's the same.
The workaround.
It's the workaround. So I went to McDonald's in Israel, and there's no cheeseburger because we can't put milk and meat together. We're. Again, is that what the text says? You can't put milk and meat together? Is that what it does not say that. But we're going to take this to a place that even God doesn't say, because we want to just show how holy we are.
The heart behind all of this, hopefully in the end, is trying to help people understand is because then I can point to it as my righteousness. That's what they could do. Right. I could prove to you I was more righteous. And now it is Jesus who makes me righteous. Like, again, it is just such the moral standing that they had over people disappeared. Yeah. Because now Levi is righteous. Like, because he's been forgiven. Mm-hmm. He is hanging out with the Messiah. He's the righteous one. He's just as righteous as the Pharisees. And that was just
Not my son.
no, not just
The tax collector, Levi. I just wanted to clarify because we mentioned Levi earlier.
sorry, yeah,
so-
Levi the tax collector.
Yes, okay.
But again, that's so instantly the playing field was like leveled.
Yep.
Oh, we don't like that. No. Yeah. So yeah, just all the things when you read about it sometimes, and then part of it, you go, yeah, we make these rules and these laws and these things, and we do it as people who have been oh yeah, you can't do that if you're blah 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 blah, and you just try to figure out like what's the heart behind this, and that's what Jesus was always super concerned about.
Yeah.
Is the heart of things, but the Sabbath is the thing that sent the religious leaders over the edge. I think it is crazy to me, again, that they say they want to kill Jesus now. I kept coming like, this is not just like, I'm a little upset he broke my rule. I want to kill you.
And let's put this into a chronological time frame here. This is, by the way that we broke down our series, this is essentially the end of year 1
I was
of
actually
Jesus'
going to bring
ministry.
that up. Yeah.
So essentially, Jesus is wrapping up year 1. He hasn't even picked his apostles yet, and they're already trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, so for the next
2
2 years, they're going to be trying to figure out how do we put this dude to death. Like, that's the conversation for the
Which
next.
is why Jesus makes the line in the statement is like, you ain't taking my life.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking my life. I will lay it down, but you're not taking it. Which he knows. Like he knows this is the linchpin moment where everything shifts and they're like, nope, no more, dead.
Yeah.
And you're just like, because we look at it and it's like, but again, when all you're like, I'm better than you, Nate,
Yeah.
because I do this better. I'm a better Christian. I read my Bible. I pray 5 times a day. Like I'm better than you, and I can prove it. And Jesus comes and goes, nah, you're all just a bunch of sinners
Yep.
who need what I have.
Yep.
And that's how I get in. By accepting this free gift, I don't have to earn this thing. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because now I can't prove to you I'm better than you.
So the one thing you did say, which just stuck out to me during your message, was the Chinese
Oh, yeah, the finger trap.
And just picturing just the Pharisees, at the end of this, you said they got 6 of them on now, and just like, oh, you're so done, and just knowing where we're heading is they're gonna continue to they're gonna get trapped in it, and then they're gonna get themselves out of it, and then regroup and can't believe he got us in that way. So it does make it interesting. And I'm excited to jump in year 2 to see what other finger traps these guys get themselves in.
Because this isn't the last interaction.
No.
For sure. There's many more. And again, eventually spoiler alert, they go to one of Jesus's insiders and go, hey, what do you think about helping us? Let's catch him. Right? And it is just the level in which they go to. But it starts here. Yeah, that's why it was so cool to just study some of that and go, oh, yeah, they're just mad because they can't figure out. It keeps working. How does this guy keep doing these things? They were probably really mad when the guy gets, sins forgiven. They were really mad. Like, they're just building up.
Yeah.
And they're just furious.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just am like, oh, Jesus. I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
He sets him off the first time. The paralyzed
it was
guy.
the forgiving sins. It was the eating with Levi, having this party. It was the why don't you fast? Again, it's just all of these things that we would never do. And then now we're on to the Sabbath. And again, this was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Because it's just you're not doing these things we expect you to do, and you keep doing these things that we won't allow you to do. Our people don't get to do these things. You don't just get to do this.
Yeah.
And
again, to your point, all right, he healed a guy who's paralyzed. That's a good thing. That's probably good. Yeah. The sins, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
He ate, we wouldn't eat with this guy. No,
Right.
No, we wouldn't eat with this guy. No, we didn't. We're going to fast. I get it. Okay. But, it is. The Sabbath, nope, done. This is the most rules they had was in their whole lexicon of stuff. And so, again, when you read, again, just as a reminder, when we read all these in context, it is not accidental that Luke is building this for Theophilus. Yeah. So hopefully Theophilus is doing what we're doing, going, oh, I could, yep. Mm-hmm. It makes sense why they're finally to this place. And to your point now, for the next 2 years. So hopefully you see that now as you're reading it going, oh, this is like payback. Mm-hmm. They're just now plotting. Mm-hmm. So now all the interactions with the Pharisees, they're not accidental. Mm-mm. They're thinking about they're like huddled up, like, all right, how are we going to get him? You know? So whenever the next one is, we should be going like, oh, they planned this. Yep. They didn't just stumble onto this. Like, oh, Jesus, oh, you're here too? I didn't realize that. Yep. So in some ways they get the bad rap, but again, they also want to kill Jesus. Yeah. Feels like it's deserved, right? Yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Yep. So with next week being year 2, how should our people kind of get ready for this? How can we re-energize ourselves and not like get stuck in we got more weeks? How would you encourage our people to re-energize themselves? And not saying like people are checking out. Yeah. But we're jumping into year 2. How do we get back in it?
Yeah, I don't know that's a good question, Nate. I don't know that there's any good thing that I can share. It's, I just hope our people just continue to love the Word of God, and I think we do. And we're just going to see this transition where Jesus is actually going to move from. We haven't heard almost any of Jesus' teaching at this point. Mm-hmm. We've only seen him. We've been told that the only one was kind of the inaugural address when he says, I am the anointed, reading of the scroll. But he didn't elaborate on that. He just got, this is me, and he sits down. What we're going to shift into starting in a couple of weeks is we're going to actually begin to hear Jesus teaching. And so there'll be less of the details on some of these miracles and healings. So it's just Jesus has been gaining an audience through these miraculous moments. And then we're going to actually get to see him expound on what it actually looks like to live in the kingdom. Yeah. So that's where we're going to be going in the next couple of weeks. So maybe that would excite people. I would hope so. But yeah, there is a bit of a shift from the miracles. And there'll still be some of those, but Luke almost downplays them in chapter 6, and he begins to elevate some of Jesus' teaching.
Yeah, and I would think that alone is just helpful for people who probably haven't realized. Yeah. And again, just to what we said in day 1, Luke spent a lot of time investigating this. Yeah, he's really intentional as being led by the Holy Spirit to write this. So to be able to see this again, how many people even knew? Oh, this is kind of chronological in a way. And so for us, I think just even pointing it out should be like it should give new, fresh revelation to it to go, oh, even just what he just said to go, oh, that's why there's not as many things. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jesus really hasn't taught anything. Because in Matthew, you get to it.
Yeah. We've already had a couple of discourses in the book of Matthew.
Yeah. So it just is really helpful to see and to understand. So hopefully that alone, it excites me. Yeah. Again, just the unpacking it in this way gives it like, oh yeah, a little more life. Yeah. So show up ready to jump in.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you guys next week.